Hello and welcome to this Milestone 2 presentation for the car dealership system project. My name is Victor Mendez, and on behalf of Kiao, Sonali, and Matthew, I thank you for tuning in. In this presentation, we will go over the use case diagram, the activity diagrams, and the use case descriptions for the car dealership project. We will go over the basic concepts for each tool as part of the presentation, but here's a brief introduction. The use case diagram displays the system's basic functionality at the highest level. Activity diagrams step in for a closer look at use cases to graphically provide a high-level view of the underlying activities that support each business process. And use case descriptions provide a means to more fully document the different aspects of each individual use case. So what is a use case? A use case captures the interaction of the system with its users, with those interactions representing the functional view from the business user perspective. A use case is the system's response to a trigger from a primary actor, but it also interacts with secondary actors who may receive output from the system. It is important to understand that each use case describes one and only one function. The typical elements of a use case diagram are actors, represented by stick figures or rectangles, use cases, represented by an oval, association relationships, represented by a solid line linking an actor to a use case, an include relationship, represented by an arrow with a dashed line from one of the use case to another, and a subject boundary, which represents the scope of the system, and inside that large rectangle, we see the use case ovals. Here's the use case diagram for the car sales system project. We have 5 actors, 3 of which are primary human actors represented by stick figures on the left side, the online customer, the salesperson, and the manager. The other 2 actors are secondary actors which do not trigger use cases, but they do receive information from the system. Those secondary actors are the accounting system and the analytical reporting system. We can also see that there are 5 use cases. Starting from the top, we have match customer with vehicle use case, which is triggered by the online customer or the salesperson. Process sale use case, which is triggered by the salesperson or the manager. And the last 3 use cases are determine salesperson's commission, manage inventory, and determine promotional offers, all of which are triggered by the manager. We can also see that the process sale use case includes the manage inventory use case, and it also communicates with the external accounting system and the analytical reporting system, again, both of which are secondary actors.
Activity diagrams visually depict a series of actions, control flows, and control nodes. Actions and activities are represented by ovals, control flows are represented by arrows, control nodes are represented by circles, and decision nodes are represented by a rhombus. A use case description is a text-based narrative of a functionality comprised of detailed interactions between an actor and the system. It describes the outcomes of an action taken to accomplish a specific goal. A use case description can be broken down into 2 sections, the overview use case section and the detail use case section. The overview use case section consists of a use case name, a use case ID number, a use case type, primary actor, brief description, and an importance level. The detailed use case section describes the normal flow of events in detail and elaborates on any subflows or alternative flows.
In the activity diagram for the match customer with vehicle use case, we have prompt for vehicle search criteria right after the initial node to start the process. We can see a decision node to separate the normal flow for the salesperson's activities from the subflow that represents the online customer's activities. Let's continue with the normal flow for the next action, which is prompt for customer information. We again come to a decision node to create a path for the alternate flow that helps create a record if the customer doesn't have one in the system. After the customer is identified, the system saves the customer's preferences in their profile before searching internal and external inventories. At this point, we can see a merge node to merge the subflow for searches initiated by online customers. We can see that the subflow for online customers only includes searching the internal inventory, bypassing the customer information and the external inventory search activities. As the last step of the normal flow, we have the system display the search result. There is one more set of nodes to incorporate an alternate flow to update the customer's record with test drive details which only apply to on-site customers. Here we can see the corresponding use case description, which more fully documents the different aspects of the match customer with vehicle business process. In the overview section, we have the use case name, match customer with vehicle, the use case ID number, 1-1, importance level, use case type, which is detailed and essential, primary actors, online customer and salesperson, a brief description indicating that this use case describes how an online customer or a salesperson can search for vehicles that match the customer's desired criteria, the trigger, the type, and the relationships, which for this case is only associations. The on-site customer is included here as a stakeholder because he or she does not directly interact with the system. For the detailed use case section, we have the normal flow events, the subflows, and the alternate or exceptional flows, which follow the path I described in the previous slide.
Moving on to our activity diagram for the process sale use case, we have prompt for customer information right after the start node, followed by select vehicle for purchase and calculate price. We come to a decision node after enter customer financing method, which leads to a subflow for the loan or lease financing options. This subflow prompts the financing manager's approval, which then leads to another decision node that prompts for the manager's approval for the purchase, which is also the last step of the normal flow. This is the corresponding use case description. In the overview section, we have the use case name, which is process sales, use case ID 1-2, importance level, which is high, use case type, which is detailed and essential, the primary actors, who are the salesperson and manager, a brief description describing how the sale is typically processed. A trigger for this process is the salesperson initiating the process of a sale for the customer. Most relationships in this case are associations, but managing inventory is listed as included because it is directly affected by the sales process. In the detailed section, we have normal flow and subflow events as described in the previous slide.
Continuing on, we have the activity diagram for the manage inventory use case. This use case describes how the vehicle inventory is modified when purchasing, selling, or trading in a vehicle. As was seen in the overall use case diagram, the manage inventory case has an includes relationship with process sale. This is due to manage inventory being a mandatory use case when processing a sale, but it is also complex enough for it to be extracted as its own case. The use case starts off with a finalized sale. Then there is a decision node to distinguish between an internal vehicle sale and an external vehicle sale. In the simplest case, you follow the left branch, where it is an internal vehicle. That vehicle is then removed from the inventory. In the more complex case, it is an external vehicle that is sold, and you follow the right side branch, where the order is either placed for a manufacturer or an external dealership. In this case, the vehicle is then removed from the external inventory. These two cases end up at a merge node. All that is left then is to consider if there was a trade-in vehicle during the sale. If so, the trade-in vehicle is added to the internal inventory. Now we see the corresponding case description for manage inventory. At this point, you are familiar with the fields from the previous cases, so I will go over those worthy of note that were not obvious on the activity diagram. The ID number is using the standard numbering convention. The importance level is high, as this is a fundamental and complex feature of the car sales system. The primary actor is the manager, as the only person able to modify the inventory. The stakeholder includes the salesperson as well, who would like the processing of the sale to include inventory changes. The trigger is the finalization of a sale, as this use case is included in the process sale use case. The relationships match what is seen on the use case diagram. The normal flow matches the activity diagram, while the placing of an external order was deemed complex enough to be separated out into its own subflow. There are no exceptional or unusual flows. Next, we have the activity diagram for determined promotional offers. This is temporally triggered weekly. The promotional offers are calculated, they are then approved by a manager, and those approved are applied to the internal vehicles.
Determine promotional offers. Use case description. Use case name. Determine promotional offers. Important level, medium, primary actor, manager, stakeholders and interests. Customer wants promotional offers apply on their purchase. Salesperson wants to provide customer with promotional offer. Manager wants to be able to edit and approve promotional offers. Brief description. This use case describes how the system regularly calculates promotional offers for the internal vehicle inventory. Trigger every week. Type temporal. Relationship. Association. Manager. Normal flow of events. First, system calculate promotional offers for internal vehicle. Second, promote management.
This concludes our Milestone 2 presentation for the car dealership system. Thank you for watching.